We got a lot to cover in the third hour of what just happened, including the loss of the summer, which is heartbreaking. To break it all down, we have two great full-time comedians, another comedian, but a social scientist. Liz Miele is back. She has a new special out, The Ghost of Academic Future. You can see it on YouTube. Co-host of Two Non-Doctors podcast, author of the book, Why Cats Are Assholes. Liz, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Hi, thanks.
We
You
have to
nailed
have a
it.
discussion about cats. We have to have a discussion about cats another time.
Yeah, another time. You know, it mixes with politics so well.
Perfect. And also back, Andrea Jones-Rooy, a social scientist specializing in complexity, a stand-up comedian, a circus performer. She's got a PhD. Dr. Andrea Jones-Rooy. Doctor, how are you?
It's the doctor is very happy to be here. Thank you so much.
And the doctor of comedy himself, Wali Collins, stand-up comedy producer. He has the creator of Wait What with Wali on YouTube. He's appeared in numerous films, including Chris Rock's film Top 5. Wali, good to see you, brother.
I didn't call Dr. Collins, please.
All right, so everyone's a doctor but Liz. Liz is a comedian.
Why would you even say that? Like, just say it at this, but who cares if it's real? Sorry that you actually did the real work.
That's fine. Honestly, if I hadn't, I should have known that I could have just put the name on afterwards. You know,
I want to change. I want to change it now. How do I change my little thing to say Dr. Liz Miele?
Just become a Republican. You can say anything.
Oh, I had no idea.
Look at the guy running for Congress in Ohio. He said he served in battle in Afghanistan, and his grandmother died when he was in battle. It turned out he never left Qatar, and he was loading stuff in and out of planes. Now, he did serve the country, but he lied about his service, and he's a Republican. They're fine.
Right.
So
these are the same people who think Dr. Jill Biden isn't a real doctor. So cool.
Yeah.
It's good that they're really policing this.
And who think Dr. Oz is a real doctor. So it's
right.
Now, Dr. Oz is technically a real doctor. He's just a quack and a joke.
Oh, yeah, but he should have had his doctorate revoked years ago.
I was going to say disbarred. That's not the word I want, but
yeah.
Defrocked? Something.
Yeah.
I think there's some kind of
stoned. What do we do here?
Burning at the stake. You know what's funny here? Well, as a quick aside, Dr. Oz, if he wins, will be the first Muslim American ever in the U.S. Senate. And we Wally are Muslims, and I think we all wanted a U.S. senator who was Muslim, but not Dr. Oz.
No, wait. No, let's not do that.
That's like when Sarah Palin was running, and everyone was like, "Wow, it would be good for women." You're like, "I don't think so. I don't think it would be good."
Yeah, you're just like, I don't know. I don't want to put down women, but I think this one's setting us back, guys. I'm starting to think those glasses are just to look cute.
I thought you were saying something about the glass ceiling. So let's talk about a lot of issues to talk
about.
The
glass ceiling could stand to be a little bit more pink, but otherwise it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something else going on here that's really bizarre, in that you have all these economists, and I don't want any economist stuff here, Dr. Roy. I just want what are people seeing in that this week, the Fed Chair Jay Powell raised interest rates by 0.75%, which is huge because it's back to back to back. The Bank of England raised their interest rates by 0.5%. The stock market has been crashing since Wednesday. As we're recording this, it's way down, and there's nothing in line that says they're going to save it. And same thing in the UK. And the reason is it's all forward looking. They all think we're going to hit a recession now, and they're talking about we might even be in a recession. So a recession means a lot of things, but the reality is it's an economic slowdown. We all get that. And I'm just curious what you guys are seeing. And especially Liz and Wally, you're comics, you're out there. I'm not asking about your stock portfolio or anything like that. Literally, what can you share in the world? Like, Liz, let's start with you. I mean, you do travel around the country for shows. Any changes in the last few months in terms of crowd size, pay, the number of days they're booking comics, anything, corporate gigs, anything you're seeing?
I'm so glad you're not asking about my stock portfolio. I didn't want to embarrass anybody with whatever the fuck that means.
It's Madoff. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't want anybody to feel bad. It's interesting. I mean, I don't have the self-esteem to know the difference between my career and the recession. You know what I mean? Like I did do a gig that in 2019, and I just did it on Saturday, and it sold out like that last time, and now it's not. But I don't know if that's pandemic. I don't know if people don't like me anymore. You know what I mean? Like it was 70% full when normally it would sell out quickly. But again, I don't have, when it comes to careers and telling cat jokes for a living, who's to say that people, don't want to spend their money on that anymore? I can't tell you if that's a recession or people just learned to spend their money more wisely.
That's a depression. Okay, that is bad for you. Wally, you do corporate gigs. I mean, I don't know you do them as often. We've talked about it. You make your living as a touring comic, but doing a lot of corporate events where you MC the events. Are you
Right.
seeing anything in terms of pullback or spending wildly, or what's going on in that world?
You know, what happens is that it's later. So like stuff that I'm doing now was booked, months, even like a year ago. So it's kind of like they have it budgeted already, but then I'll find out if there's a recession like later, like maybe 6 months from now. You know what I mean? Because they had to stream things because of right now. But I do notice that when people are on a budget and if they cut back on entertainment. So yeah, and so so that's the thing you have to watch out for. But I haven't seen anything like significant working in the clubs in New York City. But I think it's just a matter of time when people start to realize, oh, and I can't afford food and go to a comedy club. I guess I'm gonna make myself laugh and enjoy me.
Well, do you guys remember this? Like the 2008, I used to do holiday gigs in December. Like my December was actually one of my best months. It was the most corporate stuff. And I would do holiday, like corporate parties. And then 2008 happened. They all went away and they never came back. They
Right.
never came back because
That's what
they knew they got away with not doing it. So
Yeah.
why put it back in the budget? But it's so crazy to me that recession changed. Absolutely. Like I make $0 in December now. I think I do one thing, the beginning of December, but I really don't make any money except for New Year's Eve. And it's just what it's been since 2008. And they never came back. So it's interesting to me, or it's like, do you see a difference? And I was like, well, it's not, it's always been shitty. You know what I mean? Like
We should, and we're going to put your Venmo information on.
Yeah.
my stock portfolio.
Right.
So Andrea Jones-Rooy, let me
Yeah.
ask you, as someone who's a social scientist who works
Sure.
in academia, there are the economic indicators, and I call these the comedic indicators.
Yeah.
Because this really shows much more quickly than you're going to catch on CNBC and these big studies and data points.
That's
When
right.
people start to pull back, the one thing is, Wali's 100% right. What are you going to pull back on? Luxury items. And that could be a comedy show for someone where you can just stream now Netflix, watch every special of comedy for the beginning of time for free, and order dinner and make your own food and save money. So what is your sense of that? And secondly, also, what about the self-fulfilling part of this?
Yes.
Where everyone hears recession.
Yes,
I guess
exactly.
recession's coming, so
Yeah.
we can't spend as much.
Yeah. So first, I do think that, especially based on this conversation, that more social scientists should be paying attention to the comedic indicators, because this is exactly what's happening, right? This is the front line of elasticity when it comes to consumption, right? Well, it's the first thing we're gonna inelasticity, excuse me. Anyway, yes, I also perform in Greenwich Village, and we rely mostly on tourists, and we're doing okay, but it takes a while to sell out. The venues that I do perform at that are for locals are barely selling any tickets. So I think it's the people who are still coming in who have some money who are going, but otherwise, but no, I'm so glad you said this about self-fulfilling, because so I'm a political scientist, which means I legally have to hate all economists. And one of the reasons I have a big chip on my shoulder with economists is that economists are like, well, politics is just economics, and they're related for sure. But I think economics is also politics, in the sense that, exactly as you said, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If our political leaders say it's going to go to hell, then we're going to behave like it's going to go to hell, and we're going to stop consuming things like comedy, and we're going to start staying at home and making food, and then we're going to sell off what few stocks we have, or we're going to listen to the people freaking out on Wall Street bets on Reddit and all this other stuff. And so we can the rich people can control the downturn if they want, if the downturn serves their political interests, which if you're a Republican, it does, because you can say Biden's economy, blah, blah, blah. So I think what everyone needs to do, if you want to support the Democratic Party, is buy comedy tickets and get out there
There you
and
go.
keep that economy going.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've been saying since the pandemic that we're heroes, but nobody listens. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why nobody claps for us.
I know. I mean, the nurses are not hilarious. I'll tell you that, right? I've yet to meet a funny nurse.
Please, we don't do this. When you talk about politics and economics, I had an author on earlier this week. He has a book. His name's Michael Tomasky. Nice guy. He wrote a book called The Middle Out about progressive economics. And he had a line in the book that people earn what they have the political power to earn, which was really interesting. And he had it. That was someone who told him, who was a liberal, like billionaire, who said that. And the biggest point was like minimum wage, that if you have the political clout, you can get the minimum wage to rise in your state. If you don't have the political clout, you can't do that. And that kind of stuff. So it's interesting when you say like the intertwining of the two. It just made me think of that. So let's continue let's move on from economy to politics. And Donald Trump has wait, no, but we're gonna like it. Donald Trump has special magical powers. That he can just think things in his head and it happens. He doesn't have to tell anyone, because he said this week that on Sean Hannity's show, because that's where you go to lie, he said about declassifying documents. He said, "You're the president of the United States," talking about himself. "You can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it." So boom, just thinking about it.
Amazing.
And you're able to declassify. So Wally, what about this? Is this like, did we underestimate Trump? Is he also a wizard? I mean, is there other things we missed about him? We know he's a bigot and a racist piece of garbage and all like that. But is there something magical, mental power? Is it he could just look at a document and go, and could he put it in an envelope like the old Kreskin? Like with the, don't even open it. I've declassified it with my brain. And the whole like, "You are right, sir. It says declassified on it."
I mean, the KKK has their own wizards. I'm just saying.
Trump Grand Wizard, and it's a
Hogwarts is
Just
real.
saying.
But I mean, is that a real defense anywhere, Wally? I declassified it in my head type of thing.
I'm going to tell you what I think I find very fascinating about Donald Trump.
Okay.
The guy calls people's bluff. He does it with the government too. Like, when he didn't, give up his taxes, whatever, and you're like, "Oh, you got to do it. You got to do it." He goes, "No, I don't. Every president has done that since beginning, whatever." And he goes, "No, I don't have to do that." And they're like, "Well, you have to." He goes, "Prove it." They're like, moving on. Pretty much everything this guy has done, he challenged, the government and challenged his country, saying, "Your laws and your rules don't apply to me, and show me where anything I've done wrong, and I'm going to pay for that." You know what I mean? It's like, stakes, airline, college,
Charity.
Say it again.
Charities.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly.
First wives, second wives,
done these bad things, whatever, and he's never paid for it. It's like, all right, well then, you know what? You take me to jail and no one is there, or take me to court, whatever. He knows the system. He knows how to play that game. And then when Hillary was saying, "Hey, listen, you didn't pay these taxes, whatever," because he said it, "Because I'm smart. I know how to get over."
Yeah.
And he said it right there. "I know how to get over." This dude knows how to get over. So
are you admiring him now? Is there a sense of admiration?
He's actually he's the biographer of his next book.
Are you
he's like, I've been interviewing him every day.
God among men.
Well, are you the black for Trump?
No, God, listen. The fact that I'm making the fact that this guy took documents. Now it's almost like, basically he's up for espionage. Anybody else on this planet would do something like that, they'd be in prison right now. This guy's playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
Is he playing golf? They were all standing around talking, and I don't know much about golf. I'm not smart, but I can tell you that's not golf.
It looked like from a mob movie, like Donnie Brasco or Goodfellas, where the guys are out there and they're using it.
There's going to be a whole book on that meeting, that fucking in the middle of the field meeting. But
but Wally, you just said something though that I don't believe. I can't believe Trump hasn't trademarked the expression. If it was anyone else, he'd be in jail. Trump should trademark that the way he was trying to trademark fired. He really was trying to. I am so tired of hearing that, but it's the truth. If he was anyone else, he'd be in jail, from the January 6th, the coup, the attack, the classified documents, the stuff here in New York with the law. Anybody else? I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
How? In what world do we navigate where we are all subservient to Donald Trump? It's beyond me. So Liz, what about, are you tired of hearing this bullshit? But it's absolutely true. It's not empty. It's a true statement.
John Lasseter, who was a comedian down at Comedy Store, he made a really good point. He said, it's not the crime, it's who does the crime.
Yeah.
Good point. I like. Why did you quote him? You should have just said that. I would just would have been.
No, I can't.
No, because Wally doesn't do
awesome.
crime. Don't you steal jokes, Wally? You did a great job.
Okay.
This show has integrity, Dean. In case you
Also,
forgot.
you said you're gonna put this on YouTube. You don't think we spend all day on YouTube just looking at who's stealing our stuff?
An email, angry email from someone, Jay Lasser 27, and like that was my thing. So Liz, what do you think about the fact that he's never held legally, criminally responsible, even his lawsuits in New York? No.
How he hasn't started teaching a law class, because he really it is really his skill. Like the same way that with comedy we've accidentally learned real life skills that like if we couldn't do comedy I'm pretty good at marketing. I'm pretty good at like writing business email. Like there's things that I didn't want to be good at that I had to be good at to survive this business. And for him to survive crime, he had to be good at law. So the fact that he's not at like some school, playing law professor is crazy to me. Although I do think somebody's going to teach classes on him and he's going to be examples the same way they teach like George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on television lawsuit or whatever. But I don't know with Trump. I mean, I have hope. I do think this is the crescendo. This is literally over 30, 40 years of crime that he's gotten away with, that something's going to get him. It's what's crazy is you were like, well, it's going to be the January 6th committee. And then you're like, I don't even know if it is. And then you're like, well, it's going to be Georgia. And then you're like, I don't know if it's going to be. And now you're like, with the documents, you're like, this guy, is he dumb or has he never been caught? So he's drank his own Kool-Aid and he's like, I'm invincible. But I do have hope that even if he doesn't go to jail, which God, I want him and his family to go to jail. Even if he doesn't go to jail, I just want them to be poor on the streets. Like I want to be in a taxi going to a gig and just see them going through the trash. That's all I want. That's all I want.
And they can't even afford a comedy ticket in downtown.
Yeah, they can't come to our $20 show.
Right.
Andrew, what about in the big picture of society when someone can do all this criming? And Donald Trump, think about it from Trump's point of view.
Did you say criming?
Criming.
Yeah,
Because Liz's point, he's gotten away with everything all his life. He has bent the law, even broken the law years ago. So why wouldn't he think he could get away with anything? When you've lived this life like this, so what's the bigger message for society, Andrew, when someone, the rich white guy, even Bernie Madoff,
right,
jail, but not Trump?
It is very much, I mean, it's kind of like Wally was saying, it's almost inspirational in the sense that it's the ultimate, like, fake it till you make it, self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, if you just believe that you can't go to jail, everyone's like, I guess he can't go to jail. I don't know enough about the law to understand how he keeps slipping through everyone's fingers. But I mean, if nothing else, 100 years from now, there's going to be a great Catch Me If You Can 2 about this, where it's just, and no one knows if the protagonist is just an idiot or just, and that's why he never touches anything and can get away with it. I don't know. I mean, if nothing else, he's not going to end up on the street because he's going to get a job going to colleges and being like a hypnotist and stuff, because he can just trick everyone into believing whatever they want.
He's going to teach anti-law because
it's astounding.
I'm saying it's just amazing how all these things. I mean, like, we can go down the list and we go, okay, now they got him. Oh wait, okay, now they got him. This dude took documents and brought them home, people.
Right. And then the comparison to Hillary Clinton's email and Hunter Biden's laptop, and they're all getting mired in this for years. And somehow he's like, I don't think so. And like, I know the word gaslighting is being used way too much in every context, except for Trump, where you can just use it for everything he says. I didn't even know he was going on TV and talking about stuff until that Fox interview came out. I was like, how is he still just living? He's like living in his own bubble, and we're all just complicit in. I don't know. I think I need to go to law school. Every time I talk to Dean, I convince myself I need to go to law school.
But what I find fascinating is he often gives away his crime. Like, he basically admits to him in interviews and every time you talk to him. Yeah. And what's astounding about it is that for some reason, I can say that he's clearly doing something right. Like there's like, he's an idiot, but he's also a genius at the same time. Like, you can't, like
the next time I get a speeding ticket, can I just be like, no, I wasn't speeding? Like, can I just try it?
Sure,
I don't know.
You can.
But it's not even that, no, I wasn't cheating or speeding. It was like, I was speeding, but there's a reason I was speeding, and it's okay that I specifically am speeding. And yeah, I was speeding and I actually hit somebody that you don't even know that I hit. Like, he's like giving away, he's admitting to crimes that people didn't even know he did, yet he's still not. That's where I feel like he can't be a moron, but also he tells people what he's done. It blows your mind.
Yeah, I mean, he proves it. He keeps proving his point. He said, I can shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. He said those words, and he said how many years? 5, 6? How many years ago? He said those words, and he's exactly right.
He's never forgotten that,
and it's so frustrating.
Is he a ghost? Have we ever seen him eat? That's what's going on?
Unfortunately, we have.
Okay.
Devil. And to your point about admitting things, so on Hannity's show, he's asked about the lawsuit by the New York Attorney General for overvaluing assets. And I played clips on my show. I mean, I played long clips so people can hear what he did. Like, he got outside appraisers said a piece of property is worth $200 million. And he said it was worth $500 million on the thing that increases assets. And literally on Trump Tower there, he had a triplex 3-floor apartment. It was 11,000 square feet. He said it was 30,000 square feet and said it was way, I think, 2 or 3 times the value it was. And again, to say he had more assets to get loans and stuff. And on Sean Hannity's show, he's asked about this. And he said, on the applications, I put it right there. Get your own people. You're at your own risk. Don't rely on the statement that you're getting. So this idea, like, you can fill out a bank loan application and give it to the bank going like, yeah, all this, none of it's true, but give me my money. And that's what he was doing. And he's going like, don't blame me. I told him a little asterisk, like on the bottom. What's that little fine print on the bottom? All this stuff is bullshit. I made it all up. Anyone else does that. That's bank fraud. That's criminal. You're going to jail for this stuff. And this isn't, Wally, what do you want to say about Donald Trump here on this one? This one.
Like Hillary Clinton said to him, he did all these things, and he said, because I'm smart. Look, a lot of us would do that. A lot of us want to beat the system. We all believe that the government's just taking our money, blah, 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 blah. He believes that too. And he goes, you know what? I figured out the way to game the system. Also, this is what I believe. I believe what he does, anybody that he works with, he finds dirt on them. He finds anything that would incriminate them. And so, yes, I want to work with them. And then if I have any problems with you, I'm going to bring that stuff up, or we're going to just let this go. I really believe that.
I'm interviewing next week, or actually like 8-9 days, Michael Cohen, his former lawyer. I'm interviewing about his new book. And so I'm going to ask him about that very thing. Did he get dirt? Do you know if he kept like a rolling, sort of like J. Edgar Hoover had dirt on people to blackmail them? Did he do that? So when Michael won't be on this segment, it'll be on a normal. It would be fun to have him on, like, with you guys.
Can we come when you talk to him?
Exactly. Yeah.
Zoom bomb, the whole thing. Here's interesting. This is just in the week. Nothing came of this. I just found it really interesting what happened. So I did a Freedom of Information Act request, which anyone could do online. It takes you 5 minutes online. The form's there, and it goes right to the department you pick. So I made one last month, the Department of Justice, and I specifically requested, as a member of the media from SiriusXM, and a copy of all the documents that Donald Trump has declassified that they seized on August 8th by way of their search warrant. Because my point was that I shared it online was that he can't declassify it just for him. It's for all of us. I should be able to get all these top secret information now. I could find out all of our spies in Russia and how to build my own nuclear weapon and all that stuff. So that was my point. So DOJ, and they always respond, but they responded yesterday. I just want to read the first line because it's so fun. They wrote, "Dear Dean Obeidallah," I wanted Mr. Obeidallah, or at least Dr. Obeidallah. Dear Dean Obeidallah.
Esquire.
This is what they wrote. "This is to acknowledge receipt of your Freedom Information Act request, dated and received in this office on August 26, 2022, in which you requested copies of the documents declassified by former President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago." And I love they had to put that in writing, and it's not a form, like it's a real letter. And then they go on to cite little federal laws and statutes for why they'll be delayed in responding to me, because they're supposed to do it in 30 days, or they get an extra 10 days after that. But they need more time because it's a special request involving various different entities and organizations. I'm like, take your time. I'm here.
Wasn't the issue with him doing the special, was it the special masters or whatever that was? Wasn't the issue with that is that that technically, even these documents that he said were declassified, there's only a small number of people that should ever see it. So the fact that some judge or what, like, it's already a problem. Like what he was asking them to do was already a problem, because it shouldn't have been there, but not even everybody that, it's like the president and like 2 other people that could really see these documents, and to bring a judge in would actually make it even riskier. Like, it's so crazy to think like that's how classified these things are, that even a judge that he wanted to see it wasn't supposed to see it.
But here's the thing. If he had declassified it, it is declassified for everybody. Like, it's not a joke. That's how it works. It's not like, hey, I'm declassifying it so Mike Pence can look at it. He's saying he declassified it, meaning anyone could look at it. So it's his defense. Some Russians who are playing golf saw it. Well, I declassified it, meaning any of us could look at it. And what happened is yesterday, actually Wednesday night, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals reversed that the trial judge that Trump had appointed, and said, no, even a judge can't look at these documents
Yeah.
because where there's nothing in the record to say they're declassified. So now we're at the legal thing where judges are going, real judges, not the one he appointed, like the 11th, the Court of Appeals, and there were 3 judges. Like there's nothing in the record to say declassified.
Yeah.
And the special master, who's a judge here in New York, who's a no bullshit judge. He's been around for a long time. This guy, Judge Deary, when I was a lawyer, I knew about him, a tough judge. He's like, there's nothing here to say it's declassified. We're assuming it's classified. So it's still classified. They're calling his boss.
Well, yeah, because he does it with his mind, and that's not real.
And but Fox News doesn't cover it. Here. It's called the Fox News effect. It's a real thing that's been studied and quantified. And Andrea knows it. The Fox studies show that people who just watch Fox News literally have a different set of facts. They are not exposed to it. They don't even know that. They just hear, oh, Trump declassified it, and that's it. And Hannity has him on to defend it. There's nothing about the judge saying, hey, there's no one declassified this. There's no evidence. And his lawyers have not at any time, not in any document written that he declassified it. That's where the real facts are. The Fox News audience doesn't learn that. That's what is so, it is impossible in this country to continue like this because the Fox viewers talk to each other. It's not just the 3 million who watch Tucker. It's millions on the right. They live in this bubble and we can't reach them because when we tell them the facts that we think are objective, they go, nope, that's a lie.
Right.
And you tell them, I saw it on CBS News, fake news. The only thing they believe are Fox, Breitbart, Newsmax, like little things that are almost not even news. You're like,
aren't they fading away from Fox now? And then it's like Breitbart and Newsmax now.
Wow.
a little bit, but they're still at that same, but they're getting the same misinformation. It's not like, oh, if you go to Newsmax, you're gonna learn the truth. No, it's the same bullshit. OAN was even worse, which is now off cable, but you can watch it online.
Yeah.
We are in a tough place, and the big media, Fox News, really ushered in. It started like in the mid-90s. Fox News ushered in lies to help the Republican Party, helped by Ronald Reagan getting rid of the fairness doctrine. Like there are real things they connected on the right, and the monster's here. And So, but
I remember the Bush Jr. Kerry election was one of the first elections I voted in, and I was. Because I'm very youthful, not because I wasn't engaged in politics, but it was one of the, and I was like, oh, the people who are watching Fox News are living in a totally different world from the Kerry voters. And that was the first, I mean, it's not the first time it happened, but that was the first time, early 2000s where I was like, oh, this is bad. And it's only gotten worse. And one of the things about misinformation that we're finding is that, I'm not doing it, but misinformation causes everyone in the Fox Breitbart bubble to believe whatever they want. But then it also sows chaos in the rest of the world because we're sitting here debating, well, we know it wasn't declassified, but he's saying it was declassified. Why would he say, is he smart? Is he not? And so we start to think about and get drawn into the mess as opposed to figuring out how to nail him with the fact that he never declassified anything, right? Because it becomes so confusing.
Yeah. You're so right, though.
Are they patriots?
It makes everybody dumb. This should be a one sentence. It wasn't declassified, moved on. And now it's a whole week of being like, what?
Right.
What?
Right.
What? Because we're like, all right, this guy is an idiot or he has the brain cells of a 5-year-old because that's not how that works. And it's over. But the fact that like, I feel crazy that I'm arguing something that I know is not true.
Gaslighting. We're living through being gaslit, but we don't accept their gaslighting. And that's the thing. We have to push back because there's psychological experiments where people sat around in a room and everyone's in it but one. And they ask, what's 2 + 2 or 1 + 1? And everyone goes, 1 + 1 is 2, of course, right? But they tell everyone to say 3. And the person who's not in it goes 2. But by the end, after hearing everyone say 3 over and over and over, the person goes, well, I guess it could be 3. Like that's simple. That's simple. And it's human. It's psychology. It happens. That's why you have to, don't think you're nuts. Keep fighting back against it. Because if you give in, and to the point of what the Fox News effect really has an impact on policy. There was a poll a couple of years ago about Americans saying, are humans contributing to climate change? About 80% of all Americans said yes. Of Fox viewers, it was less than 20%. That really has an impact on policy because then on the right, they can go like, we don't have to address climate change. It's hoax, it's fake. And it has an impact on lives and our climate and our lives and children and grandchildren's lives. So it's very real. It's not talking points or owning the libs. It's fundamentally toxic for our society.
if climate change isn't real, can we just take all those people and put them on the coast, like right where they're gonna, like in 2 years be gone?
Right.
Like, I just want to be like, buy property. We'll give it to you for $1.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they'll
just say-
believe it's real. No, they don't deny it's real. They just say humans didn't play a role in it. That's like the Koch brothers funding through the years, because then you don't have new corporate regulations that hurt the
Yeah.
bottom line of the companies. So
Yeah.
that's
Right.
why. So it's not like they're gonna not gonna say the climate's changed, but we didn't do it. It's like in the time of the Bible, the climate change. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. I just want to tell you that I still stay in touch with a couple of MAGA and Trump supporters. And I talk to them from time to time just to kind of keep this drives Dean's crazy. I know it. Dean's
Yeah.
like, how do you do this? But it's,
You're right at the meetings, right? At the meetings is when you talk to them? At the
no,
meetings?
I talk to them on Facebook. I talk to them on Instagram, whatever.
Okay.
And I just find it fascinating how they twist certain things. And sometimes I'll get them in a corner and either they'll change the subject or they'll do the whataboutism, like, well, and I'm like, no, stay on topic. And then they find this nice ninja matrix way to maneuver out of it. But the climate change thing, yeah, they believe that this one MAGA guy told me that the Earth always does like a reboot, and we're in the middle of the reboot. So
iPhone,
Earth
like,
got the new
10.0.
iPhone? That's
Right, okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I've had
and I thought that was pretty fascinating. I went,
the weird thing is, no, I have some Trump supporters who call the show, and sometimes we have conversations, but it always ends with the moving the goalpost type of thing, the whataboutism,
right.
or they say things that no one's challenged them on. I remember like a year ago, a Trump supporter called and said, the border's open. He said the border. I'm like, so all the guards there, like there's thousands, they just went home, like no one's there. They just went home and you can drive over the border. And there's this long pause and he goes, you shut up. That's what he said. Like,
Arguing with
you just
6-year-olds.
said the border's open. So you're repeating open borders. It's not open borders.
Yeah.
But why don't you explain what it means? But he just knew the term and was repeating it, and they all repeated to each other. And no
Right.
one's explained, what do you mean by that? We have more apprehensions this year of people at the border in the history of our keeping records, 2 million apprehensions. It's not open border. There is a surge of people. There is a refugee crisis. Those are all real things we have conversations about. They don't want to. They don't want to solve it. They just want to build a wall. I mean, it's a whole different mentality. It's not even about, they're not even in favor of legal immigration. Ask some of them now. Like, okay, Norway, Sweden, yeah, like Trump says, not Haiti, not Africa, not the Middle East. It's
Yeah.
You mean people that live a better lifestyle? Why would
Would
they
never come here.
Why would nobody? It's the richest country. They have healthcare. They're better than us in every way. And why if they don't want to come here? They barely even want a vacation here. They're scared of being gunned down.
well,
Yeah.
all right. So let's take a break, my friend. We got a lot more to cover, including Roseanne Barr is back. She's got a special on a TV network or in a
Wow.
streaming network owned by a TV network and a lot more. So let's take a quick break, come back with more of what just happened right after this. All right, guys, ready? We'll go right back. And here we go.
Break. Feel good.
And long break.
Yeah.
And welcome back to the Dean Obeidallah Show, Friday, September 23rd. We're continuing what just happened as we look back at the week with our friends Liz Miele, Andrea Jones-Rooy, and Wali Collins. So, all right, I just want to touch on one thing. I'm not really sure what to make of this. Wally, I'm going to start with you because you're black, because there's a reason for this. Donald Trump called Tish James racist and keeps referring to her as peekaboo. Like peekaboo Tish James, and I'm Googling it. I'm finding some things that we know it's racist. I just don't know where it comes from, this peekaboo. And I saw different people saying it's like peekaboo and other things. They were like breaking it down online, calling her racist for standing up to a white man. I understand just inherent the reaction of a white supremacist. Donald Trump is a white supremacist. How dare a black woman tell me what to do? Any sense with this peekaboo? He keeps calling her on social media peekaboo James.
It's close to bugaboo. It's close to, I think he's, once again, how he finds words, bigly and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I think he was trying to be safe and get it into the margin there by not calling a bugaboo but peekaboo. And also he might be looking at it as like she's being nosy. She's going through all his stuff, and she's
Also,
like,
he has
peekaboo, gotcha.
He has the vocabulary of a fourth grader. Like,
Oh, it's amazing. It's
It's
amazing.
probably just the only word he hasn't used yet from his picture books.
Yeah, and it could be, it could be like, dog whistle, a little like, wink, wink, saying, this black chick, this blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? She's getting into my business. How dare she, So
That's definitely part of it. I mean, there is the idea of, how dare a black woman stand up to me? I'm Donald Trump. I again, we don't know, but when you look at, I actually read a lot of the actual complaint by the Attorney General. It's a civil lawsuit. She puts in writing that Donald Trump repeatedly committed crimes and puts the actual New York penal code for the crimes. 2 of the 3 are felonies. If he doesn't get charged here, then we should all live the Trump life. That's it. At that point,
Yeah.
like it's
But
game
once
over.
again, we're back to that. We're back to, we said, how many years ago we said this? This is it. This
Yep.
is it. This is it. This is taking them down. It hasn't happened.
My spirit is broken on there'll ever be accountability for him. I think we'll defeat him politically. We did in 2020. We beat him in 2020. 2016, we won the popular vote. And we can beat him in 2024. It comes up to us. But waiting for actual criminal charges, I'm not saying they're not going to happen. I hope they do, but I don't have confidence. The best chance, I think, is Fulton County DA in Georgia, because they have him on tape saying stuff. But she might go, it's a close call, so we're not going to indict him because he's Donald Trump. And that's the problem.
You don't think in my heart, but I'm a moron. My heart is that the documents is our best chance of getting them.
Maybe, but if it just comes down to, is there on its face, are there crimes? Yeah. If there is even a hint that he showed the documents to someone for any financial, personal, or political gain, he definitely gets charged with felony. I think that DOJ's got to charge him. If it's simply him saying the DOJ, it's simply him going, I'm not giving you the documents, and I think I have a right to them, and I don't care what the law says. Well, the obstruction of justice is the best one, where his lawyers lied. Did Trump lie or not? You got to show that Trump lied to them. If it's a lawyer's lying without Trump lying, then he doesn't commit obstruction.
Why don't these lawyers, since half his lawyers are being disbarred or suspended and going to jail, how are they not? Is this back to what Wally said about them having dirt on them? Like, how are they not like, he's crazy and a liar and I don't want to go to jail? Like, why is nobody being like, I know everything about him because I'm his lawyer and I don't want to go to jail?
Well,
Like,
that's why Dean's talking to Michael Cohen. We're going to hear it, right?
Well, we might, there are lawyers. The one who signed, I think it's Elena Bob or Christina Bob, the lawyer who actually signed the certification, the DOJ going, we looked everywhere and there's no more classified documents. They get a subpoena. There's 100, including in Trump's desk, that have classified stamped all over. You know, if she's going to say that I said to him, hey, we have to check. And he goes, hey, don't worry. I checked on it. It's fine. You know, is that enough for him to be obstruction? Perhaps. If she did nothing more than just sign it because she wants to be a big shot and help her career, then she committed obstruction. She has hired a lawyer. So there's no doubt she's sort of out of this whole defense thing right now. So she's hired a lawyer and she's probably going to be charged.
Here's how twisted this whole situation has become, is that, Dean, as you were saying that, I'm finding myself thinking like maybe the U.S. justice system is too thorough. Maybe we should not have to demonstrate evidence anymore. We know he's crazy. We know they did stuff. Why can't we just put him away? I was like, we need to relax the rules for everyone. I mean, this is insane, right?
But
I'm just like, the law is too just. We gotta loosen it. I don't know.
But the last 4 years, 5, 6 years has been them being like, Trump is, we're now looking into this. We think Trump did this. We're like, we all saw it.
Yeah.
Why are we investigating years later on a thing that we all saw with our own eyes? Like, it just, you're like, this isn't even speculation. We saw, it was on TV. We saw him say stuff. We saw him do stuff.
Right.
Like, that's where the real gaslighting does feel like. You're like, I saw it.
What about Hunter Biden? What about Hunter
Right,
Biden? How dare you? Hunter Biden is everything. Everything. That Hunter Biden laptop has the answers to life. It's got the answers to everything. Inflation, how to be youthful forever, like anything you want to know, room temperature fusion.
You go
it's
to a
all on Hunter
MAGA,
Biden's
a
laptop.
doctor can say to a MAGA and say, listen, you got cancer. Well, you know what? I challenge that. What about Hunter Biden?
Yeah.
Hunter, and don't laugh. Look with COVID. ABC had a thing about 2 months ago showing now they can quantify the death toll after the vaccine. After the vaccine was available, in states that Trump won was 38% higher than in states that Trump lost. 38% people have died like that. I don't know if that's factored into this election because that's a swath of people in some of these purplish red states. They're not here.
I forget the name of the psychologist. It's a famous psychologist who basically coined the term cognitive dissonance. The idea that like I'd rather suffer miserably than admit that I'm wrong because that's the greatest pain. If he were alive today, he would be so excited because literally we'd rather die than admit we were wrong. Like that's all that's happening. in all of these places.
Bobby, Wally, do you know the name of the doctor?
What's the name of that guy?
Joyce DeGruy, capital Gruy, DeGray, DeGraw, Joyce DeGruy.
That I'm going to have to disagree. I'm going to cognitive dissonance you. I
Yeah.
have another doctor.
I think it was Trump. who
I have
came up
another
with that.
doctor right here who claims they are the person.
Yeah.
I saw them on
Dr.
Fox News.
Oz.
So let's talk
But
about
do you-
Roseanne
sorry-
Barr. What?
Sorry,
Go
just real quick. Do you think that it's not that people have changed their mind about Trump? It's just that he killed so many of his followers that he actually doesn't have as strong a fan base. Like it is really cognitive dissonance that the fact that actually nobody's changed their mind. He just killed
They
them
just
all.
died.
Yeah.
I don't know. Polls that have just come out, polls that come out recently show he has the same support among the GOP base as he had before, the same favorability. New York Times just had a national poll. If Joe Biden runs against Donald Trump, he wins by 3 points, which is actually slightly lower than what he won by in 2020. Okay.
Wow.
So after what we've all been through, after what Trump's been unveiled to be, America's over. That's the bottom line,
Yeah.
folks. So so this actually makes sense. Roseanne Barr is back. People might remember in 2018, her show got canceled, Roseanne, but she really got fired because they rebooted it without her. And she had tweeted a lot of stuff, but the one thing that got her fired was she tweeted about Valerie Jarrett, who worked for the Obamas, that she was the offspring of the Muslim Brotherhood and the Planet of the Apes. And Valerie Jarrett is African-American heritage. So
I forgot those specifics. Jeez.
she gets
Okay.
fired.
Yeah.
And ABC puts out a statement. I went back and looked at it and say, that's not consistent with our values. But guess whose values it's consistent with? Fox News. They're giving her her own special on Fox Nation, which is the online platform of Fox. And it's going to be filming it soon. And she's also been, in the last year, embracing QAnon. So this is going to be some special. Look, as comedians, I mean, Liz, look, I don't believe you should be punished for life for things, but there's not any hint of really kind of remorse. She didn't do anything about it. She has a history of really anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian stuff, a lot of stuff, and now openly embracing QAnon, which articles have been talking about. I mean, are you forgiving enough to go like, okay, it's Fox streaming, so what? Or what's the standard? I know it's not an easy question, but.
I mean, so I believe you can joke about anything, but I also believe there's consequences to what you joke about. You know what I mean? So the fact that she's down to Fox, you know where we see all our specials on Fox, like, you know what I mean? Like, and what I find funny about people being canceled in general is doesn't matter who you are, everybody gets canceled down to our profession. Like, have you noticed that all of a sudden these people are in the comedy club and you're like, oh, I'm doing the best I've ever done, yet somehow they've fallen to where I am succeeding. And that's heartbreaking. But like, she has fallen so, like, that's not where you do specials. So, I mean, I think her getting into QAnon makes sense to me, because if the people that gave you work said that you took it away from you, you're not going to be like, I forgive them and I'm going to redo I'm going to figure out my wrongs. You go, they're the enemy and I'm going to go with whoever supports that because they took away my career and my livelihood. So it makes sense that she would dive deeper into the conspiracy theories and it get worse.
Good point.
I mean, why would Fox do that? I mean, it's press. She has a fan base. She's been around for what, over 30 years. I'm curious to see what kind of crazy comes out.
And I wonder if there's going to be like, is Clan TV going to have a comedy streaming platform in the future? You know?
Oh my God. Yes. I would watch that.
Like the logo's
Honestly,
just
I would be
fake.
impressed if they make that funny.
Their logo is just a white hood and like of the street.
One of the hoods is smiling and the other one has a frowny face.
And
Like,
like one black comic would be like, see, we're not racist. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Candace Owens. Like, she's not even a comedian. Like, but we're still going to welcome her. So, I mean, Wally, has enough time passed, or it's kind of weird. Usually they go on Dancing with the Stars. That's how they come back. That's their halfway house. Because like Paula Dean was on their halfway houses, Dancing with the Stars. I'm not even kidding. Looking back, they have people on it. Or the Masked Singer.
Masked Singer.
Like Rudy Giuliani. Like, oh, she was like, look, she's back. But do you believe, like, if a comic says racist shit, and she did, that are gone forever, or there's a way to make amends? And it's up to people, obviously. At the end of the day, people want to pay for her crap, they pay for it. Usually you just do your own streaming thing online, and there's enough people who would pay $5 for you to make some money off that stuff.
Everybody has a demographic.
Yep.
So
that's it?
Words to live by.
So there's no cancellation. That's it. If you're a comic, if you're a mid-level comic, you'll never get canceled. You have to be famous to be canceled. I have to be honest.
My favorite little silly aside is somebody wrote canceled under one of my YouTube videos. And I was like, sweetheart, I have 2 roommates. You cannot cancel me. You cannot cancel me.
I'm effectively canceled already. Like it's
Please,
my life is the bottom.
yeah.
Here's it for a comic. I hope the best wish. I hope you get so successful that one day you get canceled.
Yeah.
Then for a
Thank you so
comedian,
much.
like, wow, thank you. You think I'm that? I do. I think you're special.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Andrea, last thing before we ask for people's plugs, what do you think about Roseanne going on Fox streaming? And again, they're mainstreaming hate and they're saying it's fine. That's what they're simply doing.
I mean, frankly, I'm just surprised it took as long as it did because, not to compare various wrongdoings by any stretch, but Louis C.K. stepped back for 6 months before he was like crawling back out to the cellar and other places. And cancellation basically means you kind of go quiet for a few months on social media, as far as I can tell. So frankly, Roseanne is moving pretty slowly. I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard from her yet. And yeah, I mean, the special, is it stand up? Does she do stand up?
Yeah, it's supposed to be stand up. I read they have not released it. I don't even think
Sure.
they've it yet, but
yeah, I mean, it's going to be a ranting, reading out loud of Reddit on Fox streaming of whatever, right? I think that, cancellation, is a sign of success. So she seems to be doing just as great as everybody
QAnon
else.
bullshit. They have the QAnon expression, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's like where one goes, we all go. I'm like, well, one of you leave the country, please.
Yeah. Walk into the Arctic Ocean where it's all melting. Yeah.
So Wally, besides hosting stand up on Fox Nation, what else are you doing? So Wally, where can people find your work?
I gotta watch that.
Our
That sounds
black
great.
friend, it's Wally Collins, the MAGA Black Hour with Collins.
Mega Black Hour.
Wally Collins. So Wally, if you want to follow your gigs, your stuff, where can they go?
Instagram, Wali Collins, WALI Collins, COLLINS. Instagram, Facebook, that's still around. And I'll be hanging around doing my stuff here in New York City.
I wish you would do an Ali Boombaye thing as well on your Instagram. Not just
Ali Boombaye.
Ali Boombaye. So Liz, what about you? Where can people follow you as you're on your road to cancellation?
Yeah, no, I just put out a special on YouTube because I'm still at the bottom. I haven't worked my way up to cancellation. So I have a free special on YouTube called The Ghost of Academic Future. I have a book called Why Cats Are Assholes. I'm on Long Island this weekend, Des Moines next weekend. All my tour dates are at lizmiele.com. That's LIZMIELE. There's a high-end appliance company with the same last name. Don't have their money. Not related. But yeah, everything at Liz Miele on social media.
And Dr. Andrea Jones-Rooy, where can people follow your stuff?
You can find me all over the social medias at Jones-Rooy, JONESROOY. No high-end appliances are named that, but if they would like to, they can have it. And I have a podcast called Majoring in Everything that, Dean, you're an upcoming guest on, talking about comedy, being a lawyer, politics, and all that stuff. And it's all about people who do lots of seemingly unrelated things and why we're awesome.
Correct. Well, guys, thank you very much. That was a very fast hour with you guys. I really appreciate it. Let's take a quick break. Be back with more of